Hi, I'm Holly Adam, and I'm the People's Warden here at St. John's Anglican Church in Bath.
Margaret Ray, currently the Rector's Warden at St. John's.
My name is Doug Noyles. I am the Treasurer, Financial Director of St. John's Campus.
Hello, my name is John Morrison. I am the Deacon here at St. John the Evangelist in Bath, Ontario.
Hello, I'm Andrew. I'm the Deputy Warden, and I'll be standing as the People's Warden when we have the next vestry.
Hi, I'm Reverend Noel Henry, priest here at St. John's Anglican Church in Bath. This past year has been so life-changing, hasn't it? The way we shop, the way we live in community, and the way we do church has been so different. Because of the pandemic, we weren't able to hold a vestry meeting. Our vestry meeting is our annual general meeting, where we elect officers, we make plans for the future, talk about our finances and our stewardship practices. And we look to the future to see where God is calling us. And we make a call to all of our parishioners to engage in the vision, mission, and ministry of St. John's in a new way. We weren't able to do that this year. Because of that, our leadership team has come together and decided to produce this video. The video will have 3 parts. 1, we'll talk about our present realities. How has the last year been? What have we been doing during the pandemic? What is our financial situation? What are our stewardship practices? The second part is our future opportunities. As we look to the future, where is God calling St. John's? Is there hope for the church? And you will see there's overwhelming hope. We'll also be talking about new ministries that we are building and creating, and old ministries that we're reconstructing. And finally, in the third section, it is a call to engage, a call to all of you to engage in the vision, mission, and ministry of St. John's, of being a transformative influence in the community of Bath through the love of Jesus Christ. One of the things that we will be launching soon is a pledge campaign. Our hope is that you would engage in this new stewardship practice of St. John's Anglican Church. The very first person to speak to you this morning is Holly Adam, our People's Warden.
Hi, I'm Holly Adam, and I'm the People's Warden here at St. John's Anglican Church in Bath. We have certainly been living in uncertain times, not only in our personal lives, but also in the livelihood of our church. During our time of lockdown, isolation, and now moving towards our season of renewal as we've reopened our doors to worship together, it is very similar to planting a garden. March was a time of dormancy, leading to spring revival and summer renewal with all plants in bloom. Our prayers will be answered when we can experience the full lifeline of the plants that grow in our gardens, when we can all meet without regulations, being well nourished and fed, spiritually and socially. The last 6 months have been a period of adjustment for sure, but we have stayed the course with our worship activities. Reverend Noel has been instrumental in ensuring weekly services were streamed through social media, not only to our parishioners, but also to our friends on social media. The Bath community is checking us out, as we can see by the number of reviews we are getting on social media. It truly is amazing how God is working within all of us to adapt and do things differently. We have checked in with our neighbors to ensure they were well and to offer assistance with shopping, errands, whatever was needed. We assisted them with joining the online services and encouraged all to join us for Zoom coffee hour after the service. We produced a video for our parishioners to show them they will be safe and secure in returning to church in person. On average, we have had 20 parishioners join us in the hall for Sunday service since reopening. We even have some new folks checking us out. If we could just do coffee hour in person, we will have met everyone's needs. Have faith, the time will come.
Now, how do you feel now that you're back in church, worshiping in person?
I'm glad to be back. I'm immunocompromised, so I still have to stay away from people. And I think what's I think it's what people have been missing, is being able to be together and worship together on a weekly basis.
Hello, I'm Andrew, and I want to tell you why I think the church is important. I think many people are confused or misinformed about church. But by gathering in a community of believers, people can hear the word and the truth of God. They can know that God loves us all and He has forgiven us for all of our sins. And with God's help, people can turn away from the sin and the bad behaviours, and they can live contented, fulfilled lives.
So the job of the deacon is twofold in the fact that although we work at the church, my job and my mission is to bring the gospel out into the world, in this case Briargate, and bring the concerns of the world back to our church so that we at the church level can work on an outreach basis. I work with the Napanee Hospital in grief support, and I work with the Royal Canadian Legion as the chaplain, and I also work with our veterans in support of services that they request from Veterans Affairs Canada. My main ministry outside of the church as a deacon is to work with Briargate retirement residents that you see in the background behind me. Here at Briargate, I took this ministry on 5.5 years ago, and until COVID struck us, I was dealing and coming here 6 times a month, delivering Bible studies, doing a movie evening with them, and also delivering church services and bringing sacraments out to them. Now we are here 1 day a week, every Wednesday afternoon, and we are delivering a straight service to the residents here at Briargate. Also at Briargate, I come on a regular basis when I'm available, and I do pastoral care and pastoral visits to those who are sick or ill. St. John's is well regarded and well known for the outreach that they have done in this community. In the last 7 years that I've been associated with St. John's, I have watched a church that was flourishing well, and we did have some drop in our parishioners that happens with seniors in churches, but we have been able to maintain the status quo of the number of people who come to our church and the number of people who support it. One of the greatest problems that we have in our church today, and I'm sure all churches, is the volunteers who wish to assist in all the things that the church could be involved in.
As part of our present realities, the way we do church has completely changed. We moved our worship services from the church on the hill to our hall, where we can practice safer, more hygienic pandemic protocols. The way we do Bible study has changed. Did you know that our Bible study can get anywhere up to 18 people? Our Bible study is available both on Zoom and in person, where we sit socially distanced from one another. I've also been uploading a daily devotional called a Ministry Minute on Facebook. It has been widely shared around the world. We have over 200 people that like our Facebook page, and we reach over 3,500 people every month through our activity online. And all of this is only done, and we're able to do all of this only because of what you are doing, of your support, of the way you're telling others about St. John's and our ministry. And when you tell others about how you enjoy the mission and the ministry of St. John's, it enlivens others and it enables them to come and check us out. Thank you for what you have been doing.
We thank you for your ongoing givings to St. John's, either through pre-authorized givings, PAG, the monthly graceful givings for envelope drop-offs, and for those of you who have embraced electronic transfer of funds. We have dramatically scaled back operations to reduce expenses, but we still have ongoing monthly responsibilities that did not take a hiatus during this pandemic. Thank you for your continued support of St. John's during these extraordinary times. Your leadership team is here for you. Please reach out for any of your needs. May God bless you and keep you safe.
I love how you ended it.
We have a lot to celebrate. Let's go back in time. Let's have a flashback here. Prior to 2016, we had 14 consecutive years of deficits. We were technically insolvent, meaning we didn't have the money to go forward to pay our bills in November of 2015. And this applied to the church, the hall, and the cemetery. 2016 to 2020, we came through as a team, as a community, and as a parish. We were at break even or had a small surplus across all three divisions, hall, church, and cemetery. How did we do it? Well, there was tremendous response to the value proposition of our vision and mission of our strategic plan to be a transformative influence in our community through the love of Jesus Christ. The church did it specifically through fundraising, soup and sandwich at the bazaar, offertory increases, and support from the diocese. The hall, higher utilization from marketing and overall attractiveness by what we did to the facility. And behind the scenes, we had structured and disciplined processes and financial controls. All that led to substantial gains in our performance on an operational basis. The second major point is our debt, the dollars in arrears that we owed to the diocese. At year-end 2015, it was $76,000. And that first forecast that I saw was projecting it to be $90,000 by the end of 2016. What happened? We worked it down to $50,000, and it's very stable now, and has that been there for a year. How did we do it? Parishioner-specific donations and operational surpluses from our wonderful performance that I mentioned just prior to this. The third major point, good news story, is our facilities. They were in a state of disrepair from neglect. Systems were not all to code. 2016 to 2019, for the church, you may have heard of the walls, the walkways, and the windows, and safety. The hall, the kitchen, the rails and ramps, the lighting, the electrical, and again, safety. How did we do it? Parishioner response. They valued these facilities. They valued what goes on in here. They valued the fellowship that goes on, whether at the hall or the church. Targeted campaigns were run. And again, the community stepped up and our parishioners stood up. So the overriding theme on all of this, we valued our vision of being a transformative influence in our community of Bath through the love of Jesus Christ. And we embraced our mission, which was to embrace others, encourage others, and inspire others to also be participants in this journey forward. And that's what we'll have to look forward to in what's coming at us at the moment. There are some disturbing underlying trends for the church. Not the hall, not the cemetery, but the church. There are 5 of them, big ones, that are big trends. One is we've experienced over the last few years a declining Sunday worship service attendance. It's down 20% from 2017 to just 35 souls on average a week. Decreasing membership, in other words, the number of parishioner households that we have. Again, through the same period through year-to-date 2020, we're down 25% to just 40 households, not souls, but households. We've also experienced over the same time frame a drop in offertory giving. It's down 25% from the 2018 peak. The next point there, I facetiously put in the perfect storm. I refer you now to the next chart, and you'll see there that that's the distribution of the givings from all of our parishioners over the years. And the right-hand side are those few members, the 9 households that were actually contributing over 50% of the total donations that the church received in any one year. From last year and through this year, 2020, we've seen 5 of those 9 households either physically move away or move away from St. John's to worship elsewhere. That's been a substantial blow to the offertory revenue that St. John's has experienced over the last 3 or 4 years. That's quite a bite, roughly $20,000 a year. There are a couple more. We've talked about revenues up to now. Now it's about costs. Starting this year, we're closing out, actually the last quarter of this year, we're closing out the subsidies of dollar support that we've been receiving. Whether they're grants, outright subsidies from the government, or interest-free debt. That adds up to about $1,300 a month. That's gone. It started now. Also, the next major trend is we have very high fixed costs. 77% of our cost structure is fixed. We can't touch it. We can't move it. It only grows in one direction, upwards. And that's the salary of our minister, the benefits, CMM, our fees, our franchise fee to the diocese, and insurance. And this is despite now operating as a shared ministry with St. Albans. Overall, what this is tending to lead to is an intersection of two critical lines. Our cost structure and our costs are increasing, while our revenues are decreasing. It hasn't helped with COVID. Our revenue source of maybe $10,000, $12,000 a year from fundraising has been severely hampered, this year especially, and it might carry on into next year. So revenues are going down, costs are going up. At some point, the lines cross, where we will not be able to generate surpluses or break even. We will start generating deficits. And as deficits climb, we're able to fund them through our favorable cash position that we're sitting on right now. But that cash also runs out sometime in the second half of 2021.
You seem really hopeful for the future of St. John's.
I am, but I think we may need to think about changes to the way we run the church. It may not be the same as it has always been, but I think it will still be Anglican. We'll still sing the hymns, we'll still say the creed and everything else. It'll just be a little bit different.
What do you think about the future of St. John's?
I think that St. John's as a church in a small community has a good future. Unfortunately, like all churches in small communities, we have areas where we suffer, and our survivability is sometimes based too greatly on our economic ability. And I believe that we will be able to survive. And I believe that through outreach and coming to our community and allowing our community to know what we can do for them, that we will be able to move forward.
When you look at the future of St. John's, what do you anticipate?
Well, if last Sunday was an example, we had some new people come out and join us. And that was pretty amazing during these times. And that was unsolicited. They just showed up, I believe. I think it's going to be wonderful once more restrictions are lifted and we can actually socialize. I think what's really missing is the social aspect of being able to congregate before and after service, and particularly with a cup of coffee. And the Zoom coffee hour that is held after every Sunday's live stream, it's just not cutting it.
I am full of hope. I'm full of joy. We have been through a tough time with COVID, where we haven't been able to share space together, go to church together, have coffee together, discuss what's going on. Recently, we've been starting back with our services in the hall, which is a huge change. And in spite of that, our attendance is up at the hall. People are loving being in the same space together, regardless of the changes, regardless of the guidelines, the masks, the social distancing. The fact that we're online now and able to share our mission with people around the world, across the street, around the country is fabulous.
What do you think of the future of St. John's?
There is potential. We've got some quite serious underlying trends that are going to require commitment, staunch belief in our vision and our mission, more engagement, greater engagement. I have confidence that the new leadership team will be able to drive that. There is opportunity. We have support from our diocese that wants to see us succeed, and we have parishioners that want to see us succeed as well.
I'm incredibly hopeful for the future of the church. It's God's church, and as we move forward in faith, God will build his church. And we are the workers in his vineyard, as Bishop Michael says over and over again. This is one end of God's vineyard. And as we put the work into the church, as we engage in the vision, the mission, and the ministry of St. John's, God will continue to be faithful to that which he has called us to. And my goodness, like the people here at St. John's, the community that we're a part of, there's so much hope. There's so much to look forward to. This is the first community that I have ever been a part of where everyone knows and cares about and engages in the work of St. John's and the churches in the community. Think of the ways we partnered with the Lions, partnered with the gardening club. We went and we did the blessing of the animals in the gazebo. Like, oh my goodness, there is so much to look forward to. Absolutely. Absolutely. And as we engage more and more as a people of God in the work of the church, I think we'll grow. Yeah.
Now, going forward, what are our options? Well, I refer you back to our vision and our mission of being a transformative influence in our community through the love of Jesus Christ. If you truly believe that and value that and care for your community, reach deep into yourselves and consider increasing your stewardship to St. John's. Yes, it's going to be hard, it's tough times, and there's fewer people on board to drive those revenues because we've lost substantial numbers of monies and important parishioners. And the second thing is we have to increase our base. We have to enlarge in our base. By that I mean we have to encourage, by being forthright, outgoing, to encourage others to join us on our journey of being a transformative influence in our community. So I urge you, each and every one of you, to make us more attractive in your interactions with others who aren't members, who aren't parishioners today, but possibly are. We're seeing great numbers of new people arriving in Bath. Reach out, encourage them. I'm sure they will hear good stories of St. John's and where we've come from over the last 5 years and where we've come from for the past 236 years. It's a wonderful story.
What are some practical things that people can do to do this ministry of outreach in Bath?
We have individuals who struggle, and we know that there are individuals who are using our food bank that is given to us by the Lions Club, and we know that there are people who are having family issues and they do not have anyone to turn to. I believe if we were to extend a hand of outreach to those families, that we would be able to support them better in their areas of concern, especially on the pastoral side. And I also believe that by doing this, that they would understand that there is more to be offered to the church than just the white building on the hill.
In what ways can people participate in your ministry?
My ministry is self-financed, and one of the ways that people can support is they could help with the financial assistance that's needed with purchasing little teddy bears that we give for grief support, personal handheld crosses that we give to people who are also grieving or in the process of having surgery or are very sick. And the other way is we have opportunities within Briargate and other nursing facilities where we collectively as a church could come in as small groups serve meals or spend afternoons working with the people who are in these facilities, these seniors who long to have company, and anyone who would be interested in doing that would be a great asset to this ministry. And by opening up that ministry, these people would show that we at St. John's are, in fact, reaching out to our extended community.
So, Mark, what are the ways that the people of St. John's can engage in the ministry of St. John's?
Well, come along on your own or with a friend and participate in any of our activities. We have a weekly Bible study, attend a parish council meeting, pray with us every 2 weeks at Partners in Prayer, join the Altar Guild, and learn the traditions behind the elements of the Anglican Church. Pair up with one of our lay readers and learn how to assist our priest with the church services. Join the ladies of the Pin who sweeten our lives with pies and pastries. Connect with the Ecumenical Prayers and Squares group and lighten someone's heart through quilting. If you're looking to engage in another way, then speak to Reverend Noel or one of the members of our leadership team. We're always looking for new ideas. It's all about teamwork, mentoring, and reaching out to others by being a transformative influence in our community of Bath through the love of Jesus Christ.
So another way that we have the possibility of growing within St. John's is we know that when we gather with our families and our friends, many people say to us, well, I must try that church out someday. I would encourage anyone who's watching this video to find a friend and come and visit us at St. John's. Presently, we are having church services in our community hall, but we would definitely take you up to the church that embraces everyone who walks through its doors. And I would ask that you come and try us. Until you've tried us, you will not know what great pleasures and what great joy you will get from joining in the love of Jesus Christ with the people who join at our church on every Sunday morning.
In the time to come, we'll also be rolling out a pledge campaign. It's our way of being more transparent with our finances and be more proactive in our stewardship practices as a church. And we as a leadership team ask that you participate and engage in this pledge campaign as well. I want to end this video with a call to you. A call to engage in the mission and the vision and the ministry of St. John's. Our mission statement is this: to be a transformative influence in the community of Bath by sharing the love of Jesus Christ. And you can do that by partnering and engaging with the work of the church through all these different activities that Reverend John, Doug, Holly, and Mark have spoken about. In this part of the video, we'll be speaking to our leadership team. Why did they choose to engage in the roles that they are currently in? Doug as treasurer, Marg and Holly as wardens, Andrew as our future warden, and Reverend John in the ministry of a deacon. We'll be asking them what invoked them to engage in the mission, the vision, and the ministry of St. John's. And my hope is that you will find encouragement through their stories, and being encouraged by their stories, engage in the work of St. John's. Holly, why did you stand for the election to be a people's warden X number of years ago?
Well, I resisted it for at least a year because I had been a people's warden back in Brampton where we moved from. And I always loved to be involved, and when we came to Bath 5 years ago, that was my mission, to become involved in as many things as I could, to get to know the people and to be able to add to the community. And church has always been important to me, and it was a way to give back. And I've thoroughly enjoyed my time as people's warden.
Mark, why did you choose to engage in the mission and vision and ministry of St. John's by becoming a rector's warden?
Well, when my husband Don passed away, there was a huge gap in my life, and I returned to church following a long absence. At first, it was the fellowship after the services that actually brought me back each week. Then gradually I got more involved. It was a natural transition from me attending as a parishioner each week to beginning lay reader training, and then sitting on the parish council as a lay reader. And now I'm the rector's warden. And with each step came personal and spiritual growth. And the journey continues, and there's no end to it.
Doug, what made you choose to engage in the vision and mission of St. John's when you chose to take on the role of a treasurer in 2015?
When Deb and I arrived in Bath, it didn't take us very long to recognize the value of St. John's, the potential it offered to the village of Bath. In pretty short order, given my background, I recognized that there were some severe underlying issues. And having had prior experience in the private sector in doing turnarounds, I said, this is worth saving, this is worth devoting time to turn it around for the benefit of dear friends and neighbors who are parishioners, as well as to other neighbors who use the hall and the facilities. So I found it of value to me to volunteer. Did I ever expect it to be upwards of 40 hours or more a week for 5 years? No. But it was worth it because I could see it in the eyes of the people, whether they're community members or parishioners, pride and care and pursuit of our vision to be a transformative influence in our community. It's all about the community.
You've chosen to engage in the church in a leadership capacity. What made you engage in the work, the mission, and the vision of St. John's?
Well, Maureen and I both attended church when we were children, but now as adults, we started going to church when our children were small. We wanted them to grow up in a Christian context. So since then, we've attended about 5 Anglican churches in different places, and all the time I avoided getting involved in church leadership. I was too busy with work and too busy with family. But now I'm retired and I have time. So the Holy Spirit is telling me this is my time to be involved in church leadership.
So, Reverend John, tell us, why did you choose to be ordained as part of the mission and ministry of St. John's?
When I was introduced to the services here at Briargate through Reverend Bram Pierce, and I took over the job as a lay reader, I noted that I had a hard time getting people to attend my services when I first came. When I put on my robe as a lay reader, then they would follow me like the Pied Piper to the services. In doing that, I realized that there may be a bigger call for the necessity and for the care of the people, and it would be on a pastoral side that could be delivered much greater from a ordained position.
Why did I choose to engage in the mission and ministry and vision of St. John's? I remember my interview about three and a half years ago, and the people that sat around that table and expressed, this is what we're looking for in the church. We want the church to engage in new ministries. We want to attract the families and the young children. So we started a youth group. That youth group has continued into the work in universities now. All of these future ideas and plans and people's excitement, the parishioners' excitement, excited me about wanting to be a part of St. John's and wanting to be a part of the vision and mission. You were the ones that attracted me to come into your church. And I think that's telling, isn't it, of what brings people to our church? It's you all. And I know that God is working in our church and that God is present. The Holy Spirit is moving. I've seen all of this, God's hand in our church. And I think it's so great that God's moving in us. The Holy Spirit is working in our church. And when I became a priest, I engaged with those. I engaged in people that said, hey, here's a different way of preaching. Here is a different way of doing Bible study. Here is a new way of you living into the life of the church. And I embraced it all. And I fell in love with you all. And I fell in love with the church. And that's why I continue to strive for the work of St. John's. I continue to be here, to live out our vision and mission, because I believe in it, and I believe in all of you, and I love all of you. That's why I'm engaging in the vision, the mission, and the ministry here at St. John's.